We had tons of stuff to talk about this week. I wanted to talk about the Giannis 50-point game against Clippers. Incredible performance. I thought it was the game of the week where they came back from 20 down. I wanted to
Yeah.
talk about why are there so many fights happening in the NBA. I saw the Dylan Brooks Mitchell fight, and then the following day there was Mo Bamba and Austin Rivers got into it. And LeBron's approaching Kareem's record, 36 points away. I thought there was so much to talk about today, but then this morning the news dropped that. Let's start off. Yesterday, the news dropped that Kyrie Irving has demanded a trade from Brooklyn Nets. He demanded to be traded, and then, I thought, okay, today's episode is going to be we're going to talk about,
Where will
is
you
it the
go?
Lakers? Is it going to be the Suns? Is it going to be the Mavs? Is it going to be some random team that'll get involved? And what kind of permutations, possibilities, all of that. I was getting prepared for that, and then this morning the news dropped that Kyrie Irving is now going to play alongside Luka Doncic at the Dallas Mavericks, and in return, the Brooklyn Nets get Spencer Dinwiddie and random pieces around. 20, I think a late unprotected pick, first round pick, and a couple of second round picks, and also
Yeah.
Dorian Finney-Smith. Let's not forget him. So that's going to be the episode today. Let's get started.
Was not to get this. They didn't have much to offer
Yeah.
because the whole world knows the Lakers are trying to offload Westbrook. Why would Nets want to be a part of that process when they're giving up an elite talent?
Yeah.
Plus, Lakers have no real picks to offer. That's a big headache. And even if they did, so the only way the Lakers can get any player is if they give up Westbrook, whatever picks they own, or at least one of them, and then some young talent or the other.
Yeah.
I thought it was a little bizarre that the Lakers value Christie and Reeves that high. Like, what the fuck? But yeah, it wasn't going to work. Also, I think for the Nets, one thing was clear that they got gutted 2 years in a row now. First with Harden, now with Kyrie.
Yeah.
And with Harden, we saw they took quite the haul. But they gave up a whole lot more to get him. So net, they kind of lost that trade.
And one of the players they got back, the prime piece they got back, hardly plays, or when he plays, he doesn't score
Yeah.
10 points.
Yeah, and or he gets fouled out or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, not very happy times. And then with Kyrie, I thought they try and get obviously the best deal in the world, but one that possibly keeps them relevant currently also, and not just do an OKC and get 25 picks, kind of like what Houston did with Harden. And that's kind of what happened. Now, I think for the Nets, this was the best case scenario of all the trades that were on the table, at least that were reported. You had Lakers with Westbrook, I think like one pick, and blah, 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 which is probably the most inferior offer of the lot.
Yeah.
Clippers was said to be interested, don't really know what concrete deal they were offering.
I mean, you don't really get good players from Clippers, right? If I had
Yeah.
to pick Covington and Kennard and
Yeah.
Trenzman and picks whatever they have remaining, I don't think the Nets were interested in that, because you have Kevin Durant on your team. You want to be a contender when you have Kevin Durant on your team.
Yeah, so I don't think Clippers really made any big offer.
Yeah.
Whatever they did, I guess would have got brushed aside, even if it did exist.
Yeah.
And then Phoenix, I thought
True.
had an interesting offer, but then I realized it's interesting for us because I'm just wondering the possibilities of Booker plus Kyrie, and I would assume they would have retained Ayton and they would have retained Bridges because they have picks to give. So that would have been an interesting thing for Phoenix, but not so much for. So I guess they took the deal that makes sense for them. They get in Finney-Smith, another 3-and-D guy. They don't have a lot of those. They have a lot of shooters, but they don't really have a
Royce O'Neal is
full-time.
one of the other guys.
No, not a real full-time 3-and-D at the level of. They don't have anyone at the level of DFS. I don't think Royce O'Neal is at that level. Seth Curry can't defend. Gary Harris is. They have a bunch of 3 guys.
Yeah.
3-and-D guys at Finney-Smith's level. Nope. And I think 2 weeks ago I picked him as my fantasy pick, and I said he's real crafty with those rebounds. You don't realize how many he gets until you see the box score. So that's good. Plus Dinwiddie, I'm a fan. My boy's coming home. Somebody show KD's face.
He's proven himself, right? Whenever Luka sits out, Dinwiddie is the guy. He's the go-to guy. He gets you 30 points. He wins you. Well, they've not won any game without Luka this year, but I can't say win. But he does a decent job of making the Mavs look decent. I mean, they would have been terrible without Dinwiddie in this team when Luka sat out. So
Yeah.
I think he did his job. I think he got a good deal. I think he wanted to. I mean, I think he doesn't mind going back to Brooklyn. They still remain a strong team with Kevin Durant. He's going to be the second guy in the team. He was the second guy in this team. And we'll see how that works out.
Yeah, but how about it now? Kevin Durant and the number 2 on that team. I mean, I've been a Dinwiddie fan for the longest time. Great work ethic, humble guy. He's very, very similar to Bradley Beal actually, but not quite at that elite level of talent, but a solid, bankable player. And it's great to see him get what he deserves. I thought even the Mavs gig was good for him, but this is going to help him shine.
True. We'll talk about how Dallas will look and does it make them the best backcourt in the West and all that. We'll come back to that in a bit. I know we'll have lots of thoughts about that. What does this make the Nets look like? They were one of the top 4 teams in the East, if I had to put them alongside Celtics, Milwaukee, and Philadelphia, right? When KD were there, they had gone on a stretch where they won 18 of the 20 games, and they were almost knocking on Boston's top ranking. And all of that has gone down the drain now. I mean, it's just Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is still elite. I still think he himself can win a series on his own. What series? One series, not he can win multiple series on his own.
Yeah.
It's Kevin Durant. And he just needs good players around him, which he has, right?
True.
A lot of this is his doing, of course. He recruited Kyrie, he recruited Harden, and then they had to give up whatever. So it's kind of his doing. And he had asked out as well. So that makes it all the 3 players, all James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant have all asked out in the last 1 year or so. I think Kevin Durant will still be in. I don't think he's going to ask out at this point. I don't think he's going to ask. It probably now he feels responsible for all of this. I mean, if you want authenticity, I think Kevin Durant is the closest you can get to. It's not diplomatic. He'll tell you what's in his mind. Right? So I think somewhere down the line, he might feel responsible for this and he might feel like a challenge that he might want to take on. But did this really upgrade the Nets? I mean, where does it go? You don't really have Kyrie Irving now, but can they survive without it? Because you have multiple point guards. You have Seth Curry. You have Joe Harris, like you said. You can get those shooting, not at the level of Kyrie Irving, but maybe you can sum up a few of those pieces to get the level of Kyrie Irving. The defense really got better with DFS now. Added to Ben Simmons if he can be a shadow of Ben Simmons that he was from a couple of years back. Claxton in the running for Defensive Player of the Year. Royce O'Neal I've always been a fan of with his defense at least. So that looks like a solid defensive team. One knock on the Nets all these 2 years. Right? This long run of KD and Kyrie, whatever. We said that defensively they'll probably get thrown out of the floor. They can score as many as they want. But now it's kind of a little more balanced, do you think? I'm trying to be optimistic here. I know it's not nowhere near the level of what KD and Kyrie were.
Yeah, it's also the defense is nowhere at the level of where the Celtics are or some of the better teams in the East are. So it's a good defensive team, but that's because they were an atrocious defensive team.
Yeah.
And that's the only real.
No, even if they're at that level, I think what makes Celtics and Milwaukee a notch higher is that they're good defensive players, also good offensive players. Like Tatum and Jalen Brown are two-way players, right? There's no one like that over here. Only KD probably.
Yeah, that and their best players, their absolute best players who you want on the court when the games are on the line are all ferocious defenders.
Yeah.
That counts. KD, there was a brief period of time where KD was a top-notch defender, but I mean, he still puts in, he has that size and he's still good, but he's not Tatum good, he's not Giannis good.
Yeah.
He's not Drew or Chris Middleton good. He's not at the level of these guys on defense, and that's kind of their. And all of these guys can go to the line. Giannis goes to the line in the finals, gets 17 of 19 or whatever he got in that game. So look, I think it's a good team. It's a far more balanced team than before the Brooklyn Nets. I think KD doesn't come off looking great, but to the original question of how does this makes the Nets look, I think it makes them look fine. I actually thought about this. I mean, think about it. Here you had a team with who do they have? I don't even remember now. It's like Claxton, Dinwiddie, Caris LeVert, blah blah blue, Jared Allen. Jared Allen, Claxton, etc. Oh, I don't know if they had Claxton, but whatever. It was a hodgepodge team of largely Dinwiddie and Caris LeVert and a bit of Jared Allen and here and there, pieces here and there. They went from that to just pre versus post, forget all the noise in between. To now a starting lineup of, let's say, Ben Simmons, Dinwiddie, Royce O'Neal, Kevin Durant, Jared Allen. That's a transformative presence. Claxton. That's a transformative shift in the last couple of years. Oh, by the way, I didn't say Joe Harris, I said Gary Harris. I will now comment that. Yeah, I know. I will now. Too much of surfing around on Yahoo Fantasy. Anyway. Yeah, so this starting five versus what they had before is a huge upgrade. It's basically, let's say Dinwiddie never moved. Sure, they lost Allen, they got Claxton. Okay, but Claxton's doing pretty well this season. Yeah. And then they got DFS, Seth Curry. It's a bit better than Levert, who himself has availability issues all the time. He's another Oladipo, only a notch lower on play style. They did okay. They went from obscurity to being one of the most talked about names in the league. They did okay. So they're all right. I think KD looks kind of bad in this. Terrible judgment calls. Picking Kyrie, picking Harden, gunning for Nash, then gunning for his head. Then, acrimoniously Harden walks out. And then he sticks up for Kyrie, but then he doesn't. Then he calls out his whole team. Then he himself puts in a trade request. Now Kyrie puts in a trade request. Kyrie's gone. It's just a total mess. He doesn't come off looking very stable.
The only way he can salvage this is by taking some responsibility and then putting together a great run in a playoff series, right? Like, he almost did that with Milwaukee. So you can say that this failed, but it's kind of a what-if moment, right? What if his toe did not step on the line? They would have knocked out Milwaukee. They could have probably won the title. And then this whole story looks different. Like, KD would be like, awesome, he's won title on his own with his friends. Kyrie doesn't look that bad either because he's won 2 titles now. James Harden finally has a chip. It kind of becomes like one of the biggest what ifs, right? What if he did not step on that toe? A lot of things could have gone. But you put together this team, 3 superstars, James Harden, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant. You can say all that you want about what happened. They didn't even play together. They played like 16 games together.
Yeah,
That's terrible. That's terrible. That is something that kind of you tend to imagine, right? What if they played one full season together, healthy and fine, and everyone's friends with each other? That could have been awesome. It just remains, it could have been.
Yeah, you just count the number of times we say what if with the Nets.
Yeah.
Every time you say an if, it's a probability, right? It's some percentage of something that could have happened.
Of course.
And the more ifs you add, the more that probability compounds. A percentage of a percentage is a far shittier number than you'd expect it to be. And that was the problem. There were too many.
And some of these things are very simple, right? I talked about KD's toe not touching that line.
Yeah.
James Harden never gets injured. Got injured in the playoff series against Milwaukee and was pretty much on one leg. He never gets injured. Kyrie Irving got injured in a very weird way in that playoff series, at the start of the playoff series. That can happen once in a while, so that's okay. But then what if he just took the vaccination? Last season would have looked so different. James Harden might not even have left. So
yeah, that's the thing. Every second step is an if. Every second step is a path. I mean, video games are not made this complex. This is like an RPG with Josai playing the main character. It's just too many what ifs. I mean, think about it. Every team that comes close to contention has a what if in every season. What if Embiid's back doesn't fall out? That's like 4 seasons. I mean, hey, if Kawhi's shot didn't bounce 3 million fucking times before going in, Philly would have been champions probably that season. Mm-hmm. Who did the Raptors beat in the Warriors, who kind of defeated themselves. Yeah. So ironically, the opposition gets injured and Philly wins the series. That's what would have happened for sure in that finals. With Embiid, and they had Butler back then. So Embiid.
They still had to beat Milwaukee in the next round, which they would have because Giannis is at this level yet.
Yes, and they had Embiid in peak form. They had Ben Simmons, who still had the balls to shoot.
Awesome.
And they had Jimmy Butler. That was a squad. And then some. The what ifs every. Yeah, man. What ifs every year for everyone. It's okay. True. The Knights didn't make it happen. They could have made it happen, but they put a good product on the floor. Now at least they're putting.
That I want to talk about today. What about the Dallas Mavericks? Now, how does that work? Because this team with Luka Doncic, who has the ball all the time, and then he just gets triple teamed all the time, and then he passes the ball. Unfortunately, the pass always goes to someone like Tim Hardaway Jr., who can be streaky, or it goes to Reggie Bullock, who misses like 18 of the 20 shots he takes. Dinwiddie, who makes a few of them. If Kleber is fit, which he's not been since a long time now, he makes a few of them, and if it's a good day, then Dallas comes out looking good. Otherwise, it's like Luka gets 45 points and 10 rebounds and 12 assists, and Dallas Mavericks just lost by 3 points yet again. Exact story that's happening with Damian Lillard right now, but except the rebounds. They've been losing every game despite him putting monstrous numbers. We'll come to that some other day for that Damian Lillard story. How does the Mavericks look now with Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic. Kyrie Irving likes to have a lot of the ball. He can play as a second guy. He's done that with KD. He's done that with LeBron in the past. He's done that. He's done it as a leader of the team with Boston Celtics for a while. So I don't think that will be a problem. But how do you see this team looking now?
Little odd. It'll take some tweaking, but Jason Kidd's a smart man. I'm very intrigued to learn how the Mavs will navigate around this. I still don't know if it will work. By the way, with Kyrie, you never do. I'm not even talking locker room. I'm talking what if on the court he has issues and the moment something goes south, he turns around and says, "That's it, I'm out." That's been Kyrie for years now. And he's super picky too. That's another reason that counted against the Lakers and why they couldn't get the deal, because A, they didn't have the assets to really tempt Brooklyn, but also they couldn't offer anything more than a 2-year contract apparently. That's the best they could do, while Kyrie was looking out for double that tenure.
For Kyrie a 4-year contract when he's not played half the game.
That's true. No, I think it's fair for any team to say, let's take it a year at a time even.
Yeah.
If they could do it, I'd do a pay-as-you-play contract, kind of like...
Exactly. He's probably a max player, but on a shorter contract every single time.
Yeah. But that's what he wanted, and with 30 teams in the league, he's going to get that somewhere or the other. So it's just about who's going to bite the bullet first. And Dallas did. So now... But they didn't give up, impressively, they didn't give up a whole lot. Dallas actually have a shit ton still in the bank that they can make use of. What did they give up? They gave up Finney-Smith, they gave up Dinwiddie. Okay. Dinwiddie. I mean, Dinwiddie for Kyrie is a like-for-like whole square kind of upgrade. So do you really give a damn? And Finney-Smith anyway, they've been accustomed to playing without him for a fair stretch of time now. So they'll figure that out. And they gave away picks, which Mavs, who cares? They can afford to do that.
Yeah, as long as Luka is in your team, I don't think the picks will be of high value, because there will always be a contender with Luka around. Yeah,
and plus, they've never really made that big move yet. The biggest name on the roster is one of the biggest names in the league. They got through the draft. They just traded a pick for a pick, took Luka instead of Trey, but that's about it. So they have a treasure trove sitting, waiting to be used, right? It's amazing, Dallas.
Actually, if you think of it, their big trade was Porzingis, which kind of burned them.
Yeah, no, not really. So they did one of those. Brooklyn did 2 of those in like the last 2 years.
Yeah, but Brooklyn gave away everything else that they had.
Yeah. Look, I think with Dallas, they have one chip to speak of, right? And that happened in the Mark Cuban era. And how did that happen? They had Dirk, who's pretty much that generation's Luka. European, got him in the draft. Developed from scratch, and then they made some smart moves, some squad level trades, role players, and some really nice pickups. They got in, I believe Chandler, I think, came in the chip winning season. They got Chandler to sort of take away the bumping bodies and in protection responsibilities from Dirk, which wasn't ever his forte. And they got in Jason Kidd and some experience and blah blah blah, and they got the chip. It's almost deja vu now what the Mavs do with Luka. Do they really need those picks? They have Luka. They have some semblance of a squad around him. I thought Wood was a good acquisition. They don't need Shaq and at the 5. They just need Wood, and that'll do. Yeah. Kyrie's box office. The only thing that intrigues me is the amount of ball that Luka has. How will that go around? Because we saw what happened in Brooklyn, where we were afraid of Kyrie with James Harden. Like, how does this fit? Like KD, James Harden, Kyrie. KD has no ego whatsoever, and you give him 8 shots in a game, he'll somehow get to 15 points even from there. So he has no sweat whatsoever, but Harden had to take a step back. He had to become a playmaker. He couldn't be the James Harden of before.
It, to be honest.
Yeah. He had to take a step back and be pretty elite. He was probably the best playmaker in the game at that point. Yeah. Can Luka do that for Kyrie? I don't know. Does he have the skill? Fuck yes. There's nobody in the league that can compete with Luka right now on that. But is he going to be willing to give out the ball and those points and all those stats that he's probably come to love? How bad does he want to win it?
MVP, and then that kind of plays in his mind, like he's never won an MVP before. So you get to that level, right? Like Giannis won 2 MVPs before he got the title. Jokic has won 2 MVPs. Now he's the favorite in the West.
I mean, does he have the maturity to sacrifice the MVP and the personal accolades and whatever else to go for the chip? Yeah, go for the chip.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, I can see that working out. I think in the playoffs they'll get shredded on defense because Dorian Finney-Smith was very important to them in all the series that they played last year, right?
True.
Against Utah Jazz, he was good defensively. Against the Phoenix Suns, he was good defensively. He was taking a lot of those Booker assignments. Now, who do you have? Like, are you dependent on Luka and Kyrie and Tim Hardaway and Christian Wood? All four of them are suspect defensively, I would say. So, that kind of, like, you might be a great regular season team. Kyrie will get you 40 one night, Luka will get you 40 the other night. Some days you both get 40 and then the world will all go like, wow, this is why Kyrie is like awesome and whatnot. In the playoffs, I see this like kind of like, if you're playing against the Warriors, who's stopping Steph, Clay, Wiggins, Poole with this team? I don't see that happening. If you're playing the Clippers, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, who's going to stop either of them with Luka and Kyrie, right? I mean, when you had KD, Kyrie and Harden, you said that they could outscore anyone. I get that, but they still needed a decent defense. With Luka and Kyrie, can you outscore everyone? I don't think so yet. And they don't even have the decent defense. So that's my problem with this team. I mean, I love the team. I love the trade for Mavericks. They don't even have to offer Kyrie the contract extension, right? It could be like a 6-month deal and we'll see how it goes. And that, I think, is the best case scenario for the Dallas Mavericks, to be honest. Because if you're going on a long-term deal with Kyrie, there's a lot of unpredictability. You're not even sure how it's going to work out. That's my worry for them. But I'm super intrigued to see how Kyrie and Luka played out together.
Yeah, I think the only question is, before this trade, did we look at the Mavs and think they have it in them to win a series, at least in the playoffs? For me, that answer was yes.
Yeah.
So now I'm finding myself answering the question of what changed, really, because they upgraded. Effectively, they've upgraded. No, but they didn't have. Finney-Smith was out for most of this season, and I know, but I'm saying this season without Finney-Smith, we saw the Mavs play, and we said, can they win a series? Yes, because Luka. That's pretty much it. So with that squad, the Finney-Smith played last season, but he wasn't there this season when we had that discussion, and we both thought, as did I'm sure a lot of people, that they're good for a series, the Mavs. So now that squad that can win a series has now upgraded Dinwiddie to Kyrie. Neither were spectacular on defense by any stretch. Neither are. And they've... By the way, Kyrie is such a big name and we forget Markieff Morris was a part of this trade at some point. Nobody cared. I don't think it was reported also.
Yeah, I think it was Bleacher Report who had the two sides of the screen where they said Brooklyn Nets get and then Dallas gets, and they had just Kyrie, and then later on they fixed it and they said Dallas get Kyrie and Markieff Morris. Like, I don't care. I think the last time Markieff Morris was relevant was one, when he forgot his name and confused him with Marcus, and two, when Jokic just kicked him out of the court and then he didn't play for like 3 months after that.
Oh, that was Markieff?
Yeah.
Wait, who's the one that was on the Lakers? It was Marcus?
Markieff.
Markieff. Okay, thank God.
Yeah.
Okay, good for you, Markieff. Good to see you again, man. So they've added him, and it's pretty much the same squad else. Look, I think they're good till... They were always good to win one series. Now I think they're good to win two. I genuinely do. I think it's about the Western Conference Finals. Who comes there and how do they fare? It also comes at a time when the West absolutely sucks.
Yeah.
Every squad's in doldrums, so it's going to be fun.
Look at the teams in the West. There are a bunch of teams that I think, I'll pick Luka over any of these teams individually. Right? He can beat the Sacramento Kings by his own. He can beat the Pelicans probably on his own. Can he beat Phoenix Suns on his own? He's shown that once. So yeah, I won't be surprised if he does that again.
With Kyrie, are you serious? They'll demolish them now.
Of course. Now we come to the next tier of teams, right? Memphis Grizzlies is my first question. Can they beat the
fuck
Grizzlies?
off. Yes.
Probably yes. I'd still pick Luka over Jamorant. Now is a tougher one. Can you beat Denver Nuggets? I don't think so. Can you beat the Clippers? No. I don't think so. Can you beat the Warriors? I don't think so. So that's my next.
Yeah, Denver fair enough. I agree. Denver will have to capsize or kind of shoot themselves in the foot to lose that series. That being said, it is Kyrie Irving. Let's see.
And he's playing for a contract. So.
With the other two, with the other two, Clippers, you never know, man. You just never know with these guys. What version shows up, who plays, what the hell.
Luka loves the Clippers. He's faced them twice, lost to them twice, although he's been spectacular in those two series.
Luka's never had a bad game against the Clippers. It's almost like...
Luka's never had a bad game. Let's stop that there.
It's like they've called him... It's like, I remember the LeBron years in the East with the Cavs where they called them the LeBron to Raptors because that's how much he used to demolish them. And Kobe did the same to Toronto. I don't know what's in that city's water, but Luka's like that. Every time he sees Clippers and Phoenix, it's just his eyes light up. It's like they've wronged his mother or kind of wronged him in his past life or something.
The difference there is Clippers have ended up winning both the series. So
No, I know. But it was Luka with that's it. Like there was Porzingis one season and he was barely breathing, and then one season was
40, I
just
think, in that series.
yeah. And even that he made them sweat. They ran him close. They had to get physical. Their whole bench, their whole squad, everyone had to get involved. People are shoving him around, bruising him, blah blah blah, and then they kind of barely overcame Luka Doncic. Each year he's gotten exponentially better. It's almost like watching Giannis rise. So I don't know how long that gravy train will run. Clippers fully fit though. I'm with you. If Kawhi is playing, it's tough. It's a tough beat. If Kawhi and Paul George are on the
in the last couple of
he
years.
always does. He sits out 1 year, comes back, plays 3 games, elite MVP level, and then he goes out again.
Except at the end, in the fourth quarter of that Bucks game, which I referenced. Then Giannis took over, and then Kawhi got the switch, and Drew Holiday kind of locked him up on every position. So Drew Holiday, nice shout out, got an All-Star call up, surprising. Didn't expect that, but
nope. Yeah. Yeah, so Warriors, by the way, I think, again with the Warriors, fitness woes, and they've had defensive issues also this season. So that's kind of a dicey matchup. I wouldn't write the Mavs off yet. So the only teams I'd write the Mavs off for in the West are Nuggets for sure. It would be the upset of the season. And with the Clippers, if fully fit, as we always say with the Clippers, yes, they're a tough beat, but otherwise they're getting demolished. Even if one player's out, they're getting demolished.
Okay, fair enough, I would say. And kind of the Warriors. I mean, I always pick the Warriors over any team because those three have never lost a series when all of them have played every game. So,
yeah, I mean, sure, I'll give you the Warriors, but for me, Denver's the only standout team, for sure. Denver's the only sure thing. With the Warriors, I don't know. I think it could be a close series. It could be fun. It was like Phoenix last season. I did not expect Luka to win that series. I didn't think he'd take them down, but holy shit.
Even at 3-3, I didn't expect them to win. I thought, well, the Suns are tougher, and then what a blowout that was. That has to be one of the worst home losses in a Game 7 ever. They were trailing by like 40 in the first half.
I think they got an early bird discount at Cancun, and they're like, we need to go.
Well, the All-Star reserves got picked this week. Do you want to go through the All-Star reserves and make your picks, or you want to talk about snubs? By the way, a lot of people say snubs, but
off, man.
I don't think anyone.
Every year this shit.
Yeah, I mean, there are 24 slots available, right? And you got to pick 24 who you think were the best. Well, you could say that some were surprises, but a snub, like.
Yeah, I think who was it? Was it Brian Windhorst or one of these guys? Or yeah, somebody said. Every year this happens. Understand that it's a finite number of players that you can pick. So whenever you say somebody got snubbed, tell me who you'd replace. Who do you kick out? I forgot who it was. I think it was Rob Lowe or someone, but I saw this tweet. And
Rob Lowe, I think it was.
Like who would you replace? That's always a great place to start. Whenever you say this is a top 10 team, and I say it's not, then it's on me to name 10 teams that are better than this team for sure.
Absolutely. Here are the reserves, okay? And tell me if anyone you don't agree with this. And I'll go with the most obvious picks to start off with. So Ja Morant, Western Conference starting off with. Ja Morant obviously deserve to be picked. Damian Lillard deserve to be picked. SGA, I think no question there. So three of them will obviously make the Sabonis, of course, deserve to be picked.
Of course.
Markkanen, I think, deserve to be picked. Plus homeboy this All-Star game. So 5 of them are definite. Now the last 2 are the questionable ones, right, in Western Conference. That one happened to be Paul George, and the other was Jaren Jackson Jr. Now, Paul George, I think, is definitely questionable because a lot of things. Not played a lot of games, hasn't been his best this season, and of course there are more deserving players, I believe, on the Western Conference. Right? Jaren Jackson Jr., well, there's a case to be made that he didn't play enough, but he's been defensively great. Since he's come into the lineup, Memphis
leads
had the best defense
in blocks.
Before this last 7-game stretch. They had the best defense. So, I would say, although surprising, I wouldn't really argue too much about his pick. Well, they wanted to give him a chance. Great. Go be. Now, the so-called snubs, right? I would think De'Aaron Fox, definitely I thought deserved a place. Over Paul George, definitely.
Exactly.
And probably Anthony Edwards. Those were the 2 probable
picks. Sure. Yeah, and having been the manager to both in fantasy this season, and having recently traded away Fox for Fred VanVleet, that could go either way. Let's see. So far, It's tight. It's actually they're pretty even. No, you know what? I think Fox has scored more since I traded him than FAB. But that's okay. I can live with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was a gamble. It was just a pure gamble. Because I thought a bunch of teams are interested in Van Fleet. Maybe he'll just go off. But it didn't happen. But anyway, Fox, still look, normally I'd say Fox missed out on the All-Star game. I'm like, yeah, okay. Because the Kings were good, but the only reason we're this obsessed with the Kings is because they've sucked so much for so long, not having gone to the playoffs since donkey's years, 2001 or whatever, that we're a little too impressed with the Kings. But really, at best, they'd have like one slot booked in the All-Star team. It's like some Asian teams get a half slot at the FIFA World Cup and they have to beat another half slot. It's a bit like that. So if there's only one slot and you're going to say Sabonis over Fox over Sabonis, whatever, I'm okay. As long as it's on the results. But if Paul George gets in, that's when you're like, wait a minute, hold on, what the fuck? Then it's Fox. And that's kind of the problem. So I have no problem. Ant has been way too inconsistent.
Yeah.
Can't take him seriously.
I think the last few weeks have kind of tilted the votes in his favor.
In his favor, yes.
The Twitter shouts in his favor. But I think Fox definitely I thought he was a lock when I first saw the nominees, right? All right, Eastern Conference. You had Jaylen Brown. I think he was he was probably even contention for being a starter. Jaylen Brown, Joel Embiid, of course. A lot of debate about. So those both are definitely yes and yes. Tyrese Halliburton, I think both of us agreed that he deserves.
That's a fair call.
Pick. Yeah. Julius Randle. Okay, if you had one Knicks spot, okay, was it Randle or Brunson?
Brunson.
Okay, yeah, I think it would have gone either way, and I'm okay with Randle.
Yeah.
Here's the last one.
Okay.
Bam Adebayo.
Yeah, he's been an offensive revelation in Miami.
When you see Miami's lineup, it's like 4 random guys every week, and then Bam Adebayo is like a constant who plays almost every game. So I think Bam Adebayo deserves a.
By the way, he's really stepped up. Defensively, he's always been phenomenal. I think his offense has improved by leaps and bounds this season.
Yeah. There's a stat which I saw, I think, earlier this week where he has 7 30-point games this season, and all through his career until this season, he had 5. So he has more 30-point games
there you go.
This season than ever before. Okay, the last two are definite questionable, okay? Jrue Holiday and DeMar DeRozan.
DeRozan, wow, ouch.
That was the biggest surprise for me.
Damn.
Holiday could say that Milwaukee Bucks are second and he's been defensively great in the absence of Middleton. I can make a case for Jrue Holiday. DeRozan, I can't even make a case. I mean, last year he was good. He got an All-Star pick. He was in the conversation for MVP for a while. I'll give it to him last year. This year, what did DeRozan do? Averages 20-something points. The Bulls are like 11th, 12th, 10th sometimes. They don't know what they're doing. Where did DeRozan come from? And I think the possible so-called snubs in this case are James Harden, Trae Young,
Butler, I guess.
Butler, of course. Who else? Yeah.
I mean, you could kind of. I heard a lot of. So there's a lot of Twitter buzz around Anunoby, but I'm like, relax, man. Like, fuck off. Anunoby is not getting into the All-Star game. Yeah, I know. I don't. Yeah. I know. I'm saying if you're going to push for someone from Toronto, you've got to say Siakam. Why would you go with Anunoby?
Siakam definitely, I thought, deserved it.
Yeah.
At least has to be in the conversation.
Yeah, I think Siakam had a shot. He continues to. I mean, he's now reaching that sort of near triple-double territory. He's pretty much the dark Sabonis, or the other way around. Sabonis is the light Siakam, whatever. The opposite conference is pretty much similar playstyles and contributions. I love Siakam. I think he should have definitely got a look into the All-Star. It's a travesty that he's not there.
True.
Over Randle, I'd pick him. You want me to name somebody I'll drop Randle, pick Siakam. Fuck off.
Okay. Jrue Holiday over James Harden or Trae Young. Well, Trae Young, first of all, did he deserve a... If you just look at box scores, right? Averages around 26, 27 points, averages around 10 assists. Just if you look at the box score, and if that's how this is picked up, I think he deserved a shout out. But I would not have picked him. I mean, I watched enough Hawks game to see how frustrating it is to watch him. I would not have picked him. James Harden, not the biggest Harden fan here. Like, I'm not the biggest Embiid fan, but I think he really deserved a pick in this game.
Yeah, I mean, over Jrue, sure. It's just about that, right? It's not about who's the better player, who do you pick in the playoffs or in the finals, dying minutes of a match. Nope.
Yeah.
It's just best squad that you can put together. And I'd pick him over Jrue, sure.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Jrue Holiday, this is just his second All-Star in his long career. he also gets the record of the longest gap between two All-Star picks. The last time he made an All-Star pick was somewhere in 2012 and 2013, I think, when he was in Philadelphia. And now he gets into the team in place of a Philadelphia guy, which is James Harden.
Oh, pre-process. He was in Philadelphia and he beats out the culmination of the process.
Absolutely.
So Ben Simmons didn't get a look in? Are we saying he's not an All-Star? Damn.
I think he got one vote, and which was his own vote. Just joking, I have no idea.
KD voted for him. And Kyrie's like, nope. I vote for Drew, fuck off.
Okay, so Giannis and LeBron are the captains, and if you had to pick your starters, right? You want to do this exercise where you.
Oh god, I need to have the squads in front of me. Yeah, why not?
Cool.
NBA, that's my keyboard, sorry, super loud. NBA All-Star squads.
Or do we do this next week? Because I think Steph is going to miss, Zion is going to miss, so they might be. Fox and Ant might actually get a look in.
When is the All-Star game? I don't even remember. Feb 19th.
Super Bowl and the week after that. Yeah.
Yeah, so let's do like a Super Bowl reactions and All-Star picks sort of episode.
And I think also the trade deadline will be done by then, and I'm expecting a flurry of trades to go through. Last year we had the James Harden to Philadelphia, and then we had Sabonis to Sacramento, which blew our minds off.
I won't be surprised if Mavs make some sort of move.
I won't be surprised if the Nets make more moves.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. Oh yeah. Also.
And the Lakers trade away Westbrook and the 2 picks for.
Oh boy, Lavine, let's make it happen. Let's go. Oh, next best thing.
Somewhere where everyone was rooting for a Kyrie to Lakers trade. Like the Lakers fan were hopeful that Kyrie can be awesome and whatnot and give away the picks. Well, everyone else in the league who does not like the Lakers are also rooting for this because they know how destructive Kyrie can be.
Yeah, it'll blow up in your face. Yeah.
And it's kind of disappointed us when
you would have had 2 LA teams where nobody knows who's going to play on any given night. Absolutely no one knows.
Alright, before we go for the day, any fun fantasy picks? Anyone that's been on your mind? Anyone that you picked that has been making waves or you expect to make waves?
I've actually concluded that I will. There's no permutation where I win the league this season.
I wanted to tell you that a couple of weeks ago, but I wanted you to discover it for yourself.
No, I mean, I kind of knew it because it's an achievement I am where I am, to be honest, with the kind of shit squad I inherited. I kind of free agented my way up to number 2, but yeah, that's about as far as it goes. Somebody will have to shit the bed. Either somebody will get injured or like the league leader really fucks up his management of spots. He's over-indexed on the utility position, which is the worst thing you can do in fantasy.
Yeah.
But no big picks. I'm just running through. I bet big on Dorian Finney-Smith early. Mm-hmm. Like I knew he'll get traded. I had no clue where, but I knew he'll go.
More rebounds now.
He'll get rebounds. He'll get open threes, great looks. Ben Simmons, for all his flaws, is still an excellent playmaker. He's going to find Finney-Smith a whole bunch of times. So I'm feeling good about that, but yet to be proven. If anyone's thinking of taking either Capella or Okongwu in a trade, or if they're free agents, I don't know why they're available, but I would suggest dump both of them. They're useless, and Atlanta, frankly, is confused. They have no clue who they want to play more. Yeah, they just give junk minutes to both, and nobody ends up doing anything. So I just have a lot of cautionary tales, but I did trade Fox for.
That was an interesting trade. I was surprised when I saw that notification come up on my phone.
You wouldn't have done that trade?
I wouldn't have. I thought Fox was on a tear. I think he'd still remain at that level, and I don't see Van Fleet being that much better. I know your argument about him being involved in trade talks and he can elevate, but Fox has already been at that level, I would say. So why did that happen?
Yeah, so Fox missed a couple of games since then. So whatever points I got for Van Fleet was, better. The other thing is Fox. The problem with Fox is he's very efficient on turnovers and all that. So you get clean points whenever you do. Doesn't shoot the 3 as much. It's a big detriment in
like 1 per game or 2.
Yeah, so then you need him to get those steals in a game. And there's a reason he's called Swipe, though. But when that doesn't work, you're always at a bit of a loss. With Van Fleet, the thing is, he's a triple-double threat all the time.
Yeah, he gets a lot of steals too.
Yeah, he gets steals, triple-double threats a little over, but he gets a few rebounds here and there. Let's just put it like that. But he shoots a lot of threes. Shoots a lot of threes, and that's kind of what elevates him. First game after the trade, I get 48 from Van Fleet, and I guess successful trade. The rest, Fox got 59.5.
Not too bad. 11 points is okay.
Yeah, also 59 is an aberration. Fox is not. Like Tatum does that night in, night out. Fox, nope. He's a good 40, 45 kind of guy. So I'm okay. Let's see. It's a gamble. What choice do I have? I can only gamble. I've gambled thus far. I don't really have a great squad. But no big tips, man. Just swang on to Finney Smith if you have him and dump Capella and Okongwu if you have them.
Cool. I hit a little bit of a roadblock this week. Steph Curry got injured again, 2 weeks out, so he's gone on my IL. And Nurkic has got injured. Nurkic, despite all his flaws, he gets me 30, 35 points every game.
He gets
so
3 rebounds.
Okay, Nurkic is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so both are on my IL. Jamal missed a game today. Ben Simmons is on the injury list. So my injury list is going.
What squad is this?
I look like one of those teams that who needs to make a desperate trade before the trade deadline. So let's see how that goes. I'm looking if I need to ship out Nurkic and get his backup, which is Eubanks, who's been decent, but is also on a game time decision right now. So I'm like, okay, let me wait it out. So that's where I'm leaning. Yeah. Nurkic is going to be out until the All-Star game, so he's not going to come back. Steph is going to be out for a couple of weeks at least. So not looking good for my squad right now.
Yeah, it's a good time to regroup. It always is. Every year around the All-Star break, you kind of just sit back, observe. Because it's like a sea change suddenly. Post All-Star break, suddenly random players start hitting 50s and 60s in each game in fantasy, and the good ones drop.
Because it's like a warm-up before the playoffs. So
so let's see.
All right then. Great fun talking to you, and I'll see you next week. And I think we'll have the Super Bowl reactions, and we'll have trade deadline reactions, and we'll have our All-Star roster picks.
What's your Super Bowl prediction?
Yeah.
What's your Super Bowl prediction before we go?
I think, you can never bet against Mahomes. So
okay, cool. Same pitch.
I don't like Philly, so it's not even like a likable team, right? Like if you're playing the Niners, I'd be like, okay, home team, I'll pick the Niners, but Philly, I don't like the team. So
yeah, the last time they were in the Super Bowl, they gave us the greatest trick play possibly of all time. The Philly special word.
I saw the Twitter, the tweet going around, and I'm like, that was pretty cool.
That was fun, but there's no chance. Mahomes.
Why is Philly favored to win the Super Bowl?
Because they've been pretty damn flawless and better defense. But it's Mahomes. Relax.
Mahomes, exactly. On one leg, but it's still okay.
It's Mahomes. Doesn't matter.
All right. See you next week. This should be fun.
All right, man. Bye.